Okay. Hello, I'm Sharon Mitchell with the Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce, and this interview is being conducted on behalf of the Johnson County Public Policy Council, which is comprised of chambers of commerce in Johnson County and the Kansas City Chamber. Jointly, we host the site votejoco.com. It's a nonpartisan site where voters can learn more about candidates for public office. Many of the candidates we will be interviewing have completed candidate questionnaires that can also be found on votejoco.com. We have with us today Stacy Obringer-Varhall, and she's a candidate for the 3rd District of the Johnson County Commission. And this district covers parts of Overland Park, Olathe, and the Johnson County portion of Spring Hill, as well as some unincorporated areas. So thank you, Stacy, for joining us today to share with our members and visitors of votejoco.com more about you and what your priorities will be if you will be elected. So we want to start out today's conversation by you just spending 3 to 4 minutes or so just telling us a little more about you and why you chose to run for office.
Sure. Thank you, Sharon. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today to speak. Again, my name is Stacy Obringer-Varhall, and I have basically grown up in the Johnson County area and have lived here for close to 40 years now. My husband and I reside in Overland Park, and we have 2 children who have attended Blue Valley schools. I have been actively involved locally with a career at Sprint, and then several volunteer activities over the past 18-20 years, and with Sprint service over 25 years really of service locally here in the community. I currently serve on the Blue Valley Board of Education, as well as several other activities. I've had 2 terms on the Blue Valley School Board and over 4 years in leadership on that board. I serve on the Kansas State High School Sports and Activities Association Board of Directors, KSHA, you may have heard it referred to. I've been involved with the Blue Valley Educational Foundation, Blue Valley Recreation Advisory Board. I've been PTA president. I've coached girls softball for 12 years. I've co-chaired bond advocacy campaigns, been involved with work legislatively, and have represented the area in Topeka on several different occasions for several different issues and understand how that works. And really have probably another 10 education and service related committees that I've served on in the area. So definitely have spent a lot of time giving back to the community, getting to know the community. I'm passionate about it. I have a strong personal attachment, obviously, to the county, and my interest really in running for the Johnson County Commission is to serve as a public servant and not really a politician. I'm not very political, so to speak. I'm more service oriented and really am interested in representing patrons and making sure that their voices are heard on the county commission. And others that have served before us have done a really good job and created Johnson County and made it a wonderful place to live. And I guess I would view my role as one to continue that growth and development and make sure that for our kids in the future generations, that this is a place, Johnson County, that people want to live and can live with a very high quality of life.
Good. Okay, thank you. These next few questions will focus on some key issues that our members and citizens have told us are important to them. So if you could spend just a couple minutes responding to each of these, and that will allow some time at the end for you to make a little closing statement. And we just want to keep the whole recording to under 30 minutes for sure.
Oh,
so,
no problem. I'm quick, to the point.
Okay. So the first question is, as a candidate, what are your top 3 priorities for Johnson County?
Okay. Well, right now, that's actually a really easy answer. I believe COVID and our response and our recovery from it would be the number 1. And number 2, because I really think there's 2 different facets to this. Number 1 is keeping citizens safe, making sure that we are doing everything that we can do to stop the spread. I get asked a lot on where I was with the mask mandate for the governor. And as a current school board member who understands the importance of getting kids back in the classroom and somebody who really values the economy, the local economy we have here in Johnson County, and we need to get people to work and we need to get the businesses moving again, I would have support supported the mask mandate. I feel that it is an easy thing to do for folks in order to help get us back on track and a return to normal as quick as possible. So number one is keeping citizens safe. And then a strong number two to that is rebuilding the Johnson County economy. We need to make sure that folks are working, that our businesses are going, people are going out shopping, spending money, and making sure that we have a strong economy that continues to obviously generate some sales tax for us to provide the services that we really enjoy here in Johnson County. So those are probably my top two. And then number three, I think, is looking at some of the social supports that we have here. And number one on my mind right now is mental health, particularly in light of COVID and what we're going through. I have seen this a lot in my work on the school board with kids, but I also know that this is an issue that does not have an age range limit. This is adults throughout every stage of life. Mental health is something that we are working on, but we can always do better. And so looking at more opportunities to enhance programs available to really people of all ages, kids and adults. And then a second part of that, I think, is if you look into the future in the next 10 years, I think it's close to 25% of our population will be over 60. So I think services and things for supports for aging would be another really important topic that I think that we should cover in the next couple of years.
Very good. Okay. The second question is about the budget. What is your philosophy and approach to managing the county's budget?
Okay, well, obviously fiscal responsibility is very important because you need to balance that with the services that we need here in the county. I mean, Johnson County is known for a high quality of life, and that includes, you know, paying for things like parks and libraries and staff to keep citizens safe, and, you know, silly things like wastewater management. But they're really important. And so we need to figure out a balance between the fiscal responsibility and providing those. I also, having done a lot of budget work, big dollar budget work with the Blue Valley School District, I appreciate and value the professionals that we have in all of the different departments and their knowledge and understanding of what their needs are and really what their priorities are. So I would look for a lot of input from folks involved in this daily as to what is important and what rises to the top as far as their needs. And then I think always extensive outreach to a community to see, provide public hearings, provide opportunities for input. Transparency is a really big part of that, just making sure that the public understands how the budget came together and what the priorities were, and that they're given an opportunity to provide input for that.
Our next question is, describe your views on the balance between the distribution of costs and services between the incorporated portions of the county and the unincorporated areas of the county.
Okay. Well, I would say I have dealt with this a little bit on the school district level as far as the planning and, you know, follow the sewers and all of that, but have not done it at a more expanded level. And the first thing I would say is I am a learn by listening type of person, that I am always open to hearing from constituents and understanding an issue. There are always going to be problems when an area is growing or even declining, and that probably my leadership style would be to be inclusive of folks and understand, you know, get to understand what their input is, and then also search for solutions. I do believe that right now a lot of the services that are provided to the unincorporated areas are, you know, a little bit subsidized by maybe some of the commercial income that we have in the city areas. And I also believe that the unincorporated folks do provide, you know, money and support for their own services through the sales tax purchases, those sort of things. But really, it requires a partnership between the two. Cities have worked really well with the county to provide continuous service, to provide emergency services as needed, that sort of thing. So I think it's really incumbent upon the two different entities to work together to make sure that you continue to provide good services for all the residents of Johnson County. You're on mute right now. I do it all the time. I still can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay,
now?
there we go.
Okay, So this is a little follow-up question to that, but what would be kind of your view on infrastructure being more like expanding out into areas that are just becoming developed? Would you be more likely to be kind of proactive with developing roads and things for areas that would be future or kind of reactive?
I think you're always better off being proactive, and it would require working with the landowners and working with the folks involved in whatever the projects might be, but you don't want to be late to the game and providing roads after the facilities are already there, or providing services after the fact. So very simply put, would always rather plan ahead and be ready for something than try to react later.
Right, great. And you kind of touched on some of this, but so if you don't have a lot to add, that's fine. What do you believe the takeaways for the County Commission should be from the COVID-19 pandemic experience thus far?
There were obviously a lot of lessons to be learned from such a new experience, right? We had never really had anything like that and done anything like that. I do think leadership did a really good job. They worked hard trying to come up with ways to, keep the community safe and to combat the spread of the virus. And I really applaud those leaders in the local government offices that work together, and it happened across different levels, which I really appreciated the cooperation, and not just within Johnson County, but regionally as well. I feel like there are a lot of opportunities for regional cooperation, and I appreciated that. I also really value that they were able to look at the science and make some decisions based upon some of the facts and information that they had at the time, and not make this a political issue. It really shouldn't be a political issue. This should just be about keeping people safe and keeping people healthy and employed. And so I know that there were some minor road bumps along the way, but it probably shouldn't have been unexpected just because it was such a unique and new experience that nobody had been through. And I think we're still learning, and I think we're still making decisions that, in hindsight, you may, wonder why you did that, but you have to go with the information that you have at the time and make the best decision that you think is going to support your community.
This is the last question, so we're all done. And then you can kind of, after this question, kind of ease into just like any closing remarks, and then we'll finish up the interview. So what do you believe most distinguishes you from your opponents in the race?
Okay, that is a really good question. I have been working really hard for the past 25 years to provide back to the community that I love. I have extensive experience with the Blue Valley School Board. I believe that makes me the most qualified with the most relevant experience. Working with the school board, I have experience managing professional staff, overseeing large budgets, setting public policy. I have served 2 terms on the school board and have over 4 years of leadership experience there. The school board is a 7-member nonpartisan board, which is similar to what the Johnson County Board of Education. So I'm very comfortable in that environment. Feel like I can contribute there from day one, just understanding how things like that work. Trying to think what I also have a proven track record of, leadership, steady experience in public service, 25 years of professional service. I worked at Sprint for 7 years. I've helped start and grow local or family businesses here. I understand the business community very well. I've demonstrated a record, I think, of inclusiveness and transparency throughout my years of service. Very interested in engaging patrons and getting their feedback and understanding where they're coming from. And then finally, I would just say, I feel like I have developed a very positive, solid relationship in the community with people and a really good reputation. I feel like I'm well regarded in the community. I have several endorsements from all across different types of civic leaders in this race, and just feel like I can come in and hit the ground running on day one. I have a lot of passion for Johnson County, and it is really important to me that we continue to maintain the excellence that we have here and even expand on it and grow it. And so that my kids, when they grow up and, decide to settle down, want to live in Johnson County. It's an attractive place for people to come and live. So really not running for any political reason, not angry about anything. I'm truly just running for the opportunity to serve and give back to this fantastic county.
So if you have any other closing thoughts, you can say them now. Otherwise, we'll conclude the interview.
Okay, yeah, that was easy. The only thing I would say is if you're looking for more information, I have a website that you can go to, Stacy, OV, O-V as in Victor.com. And you can contact me through there, reach out, email, phone call, whatever. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. But I would really appreciate your vote, either advance ballot or ahead of time, or even if you want to show up in person on August 4th and do that vote. I would really appreciate the opportunity to earn your vote. Thank you.
Very good. So, and if you're watching this video, you already know that we have videos of other candidates and questionnaires posted on votejoco.com. So thank you, Stacy, for joining us.
Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate the opportunity.